This was kind of tough. All right, it's kind of tough because I was disappointed when I was doing this top five. I was disappointed because I feel like the NBA we have more winners in the top five than we do in the NFL. As far as QBs. All right, let me put that there. All right. So you would think winning matters a lot more in football. It does at the top, but not that many QBs won a lot that were actually in best player material. You know? So, but let's get to the top five, man.
I
These are
got you.
your top. Okay, yeah, I mean, perfect.
Yeah.
These are your top five quarterbacks in NFL history. At number five, this was like, what? He number five? Aaron Rodgers, man. Aaron Rodgers number five, y'all. Sorry. He just is. I mean, he's literally number five because he has 4 MVPs, which is second in NFL history. And he's a Super Bowl champion. I mean, well, that's all I can tell you. Like, the guys that's behind him, like John Elway, I was thinking about John Elway. John Elway only has 1 MVP. He has 2 Super Bowls. One of them he was an Super Bowl MVP. Even though he went to the Super Bowl 5 times total, he got blown out every single time. John Elway was probably arguably the best player in the league during that time too, when he was losing those Super Bowls, but he just couldn't close the deal. Now, you let my dad tell it, he didn't have any weapons, but we can't, a lot of people didn't have weapons, so you gotta get the job done at the end of the day, right? So I reward winning and I reward getting the job done, but he won twice more than Aaron Rodgers, but he only has 1 MVP. He was only the best player in the world one time. So I couldn't put him at number five. At number four, Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning. 2-time Super Bowl champion, 1-time Super Bowl MVP, 5-time MVP, which is the most ever, 7-time first team All Pro, which is the most ever by a QB also. All right. So individually, Peyton Manning has all the individual stats. I mean, and him and Aaron Rodgers are almost identical with the number one seeds and the 12-win seasons and all that stuff. What's similar to those two guys is when they were winning these MVPs, they couldn't close the deal. Aaron Rodgers got his ring before he won his first MVP. Peyton Manning has never won the Super Bowl when he also won MVP. All right. So that's one thing right there. But those are 5 and 4. Now this one to get hard. This is gonna get tricky. All right. At number 3, Spam Lamar. What's going on? All right. Number 3,
I was about to say the
Patrick
same
Mahomes.
thing, Joe.
Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is number 3. Slow your horse. Listen, I said on the show yesterday, Patrick Mahomes is the best player ever. Far as skill, eye test, all that stuff. All right. But he's not top 2 yet. He's still number 3, y'all. But he has a nice resume. All right. You look at Patrick Mahomes, right? We already know. Made the Super Bowl 4 times, 3-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time MVP. All right. 2-time first team All Pro. And you look at his playoff stats, he's first in percentage, first in QB rating, first in TD interception ratio, third in yards per game. He actually had the third most playoff wins in NFL history in 18 games in. Sorry, 6 years fully starting in. That's crazy. He's already third all time behind Joe Montana and Tom Brady. So, but I can't put on but these guys because people, when we tell the Patrick Mahomes story, we say, Tom and Teddy, oh, his first 6 years as a starter. That's what we say, right? Number 2, Joe Montana. Let me tell you why Joe Montana is number 2 over Mahomes right now. And Carl, wants you to listen up. Joe Montana, 4-time Super Bowl champion, which is more than Mahomes. By the way, he went 4 for 4. Mahomes went 3 for 4, which includes a back-to-back, just like Mahomes. 3-time Super Bowl MVP, just like Mahomes. 2-time MVP, just like Mahomes. 3-time All-Pro. Mahomes the 2-time All-Pro. And guess what? Mahomes accomplished this in his first 6 years. Steve Young accomplished this in his first 7 years when he started at least 10 games. The other years he didn't accomplish this, he only played 9 games because there was a player association lockout, and he got hurt another year and played 8 games. But when he plays 10 or more games, his first 7 seasons playing 10 or more games, his whole career accolades are right there. And then on top of that, Mahomes, I gave y'all the playoff stats. Let me give you Joe Montana's Super Bowl stats. All right? Joe Montana, when the big moment arrived, he showed up in the big game. He's second highest in QB rating in the Super Bowl. Second most yards in Super Bowl history. But Joe, he played in 4 Super Bowls. Okay, he had the second most yards per game in the Super Bowl. 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Only QB with 7 or more TDs in the Super Bowl with 0 interceptions. And he has the 3rd highest completion percentage in Super Bowl history. So look, that's how I look at it. People might say, "Oh, yeah, 1 extra year." You're right, Carl. Let him get the extra year and then get the job done, right? So my whole thing is this: when you pass somebody, you have to do a little bit more. The guy was here before you. If y'all tied or they got anything else more than you, they're better. You had to pass them if you want to pass them. If that makes sense, right? That's how I look at it. So if you have nothing, you have is more than Joe Montana, but your overall playoff stats, that's it. And regular season stats, everything goes is either equal to Joe Montana or Joe Montana has more than you. And he did it in a 7-year span, playing 10 games or more, just like you did in a 6-year span. So it's not like he did it throughout his whole career, like Tom Brady and all this stuff. But speaking of Tom Brady, there's only one number one. There is only one number one. And it's Tom Brady. Tom Brady. Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. There you go. Tom Brady. 7-time Super Bowl champion, which is the most ever. We're not just talking about quarterback. We're talking about player and coach. Tom Brady has more Super Bowl victories than every franchise in the NFL, including the franchise he helped win 6. That's insane. Back-to-back champion also, but he also won 3 in 5 years. 5-time Super Bowl MVP. By the way, that's also the most ever, if you didn't know. 3-time MVP, which is more than everybody on this list besides the 4 and 5, more than Mahomes, more than Joe Montana. Sorry, it's tied with Joe Montana. 3-time first-team All-Pro. In the Super. Now, look, I was going to throw off like all the numbers he had, the most this, most that's unfair because he played in all these playoff games, So, but in the Super Bowl, second in yards per game. After playing all these games, he's still second in yards per game. By the way, he holds the Super Bowl record, most passing yards in the game, right? He's the orchestra of the biggest comeback in Super Bowl history, down 28-3. Right, and he has in the Super Bowl a better QB rating than everybody on this list except for Joe Montana, while playing all these games. So how I look at it is, this is a clear-cut top 5 to me. I don't see no argument really. So, fellas, what you think?
I just got one.
Okay.
And I'm gonna show a little fandom on this one, but I got a guy who won 3 Super Bowls and an MVP, and the only thing your guy number 5 got is 4 MVPs and 1 ring. I think Troy Aikman should be number 5. I'm just saying. You said something about winning, and
I like that, Tomo. I like that.
When you brought up winning in football, I was like, well,
yeah.
But Aikman got 3. I'm just saying, like, you could throw him up there. I know the world gonna kill me. I know I got a lot of stars going around, but I'm just saying.
Tomo, there's nothing wrong with you saying that, man.
Only
because at the end of the day, you're supposed to win the big game, right?
Yeah.
Now, one thing you didn't preface in your MVP, it was a Super Bowl MVP.
hey, that's the most important.
So he won 3 Super Bowls. 1 was a Super Bowl MVP, and he never won MVP. So you can't be top 5 if you never won MVP.
Why not?
You had to have an MVP because you never was the best player in the world. So you can't be top 5.
You just had to be the best player in the world on the world's biggest game.
So we should throw Terry Bradshaw up here then, because he
I
got
mean,
two.
if a Steelers fan was on the panel, he could do that, but he not here.
Terry Bradshaw got 4 Super Bowls, two Super Bowl MVPs.
But they not here. I told you my fandom is coming in for this number 5. All that other stuff is out the window. I just wanted to throw Troy out there, but outside of my fandom, I agree with this list.
I think. Go ahead, Ted. You about to say something?
So
Outside of my fan.
when you sent out the topics for today, I went and did my own top 5.
Okay.
And you mentioned Terry Bradshaw. I got him at 5.
I'm cool with that.
To me, you can't put Mahomes on this list yet.
It's Troy Aikman overrated. Carl, you better be listening.
Okay, go ahead.
I just think everybody is, yes, the kid is great. He's phenomenal, right? What he's doing is out here, like crazy. But I don't know if you can just put him on this list yet, right?
Okay.
Just because he hasn't done it for like we were saying yesterday, right, in the chats, like make sure you click the link to become a member because you get this stuff. If Mahomes would retire right now, he's not, he's not all that. Right?
So who your top 5?
I got Bradshaw at 5.
Okay.
Elway at 4. Montana at 3. And Peyton at 2.
Whoa.
And of course, Thomas at number 1.
Now I can understand why you probably have Peyton at 2, but I want to hear it.
So I watched this thing, like him and Brady, they had battles, right? I watched this dude. I despise this guy, right? And I knew, like, when this guy had the ball, like, it's just like Brady. Like, you can't give him too much time. You can't give him the ball down 3, like, because he's probably going to get into the end zone with all the weapons that he had. And the man has 71,000 yards. When he retired, he was on top for yards, touchdowns, all pros, like the fourth quarter comebacks. And like, I don't know, it was just something about actually watching him. And sometimes he would beat the Patriots, right? And the Manning family, they get no love from me at all. So this right here, it was shocking to me when I put this down, because I've always, like, said, you guys hear me in the chats all the time. It's like whenever Peyton comes up, it's just when the Manning name comes up, it just brings like just some terrible times, you know.
I know. Helmet catch.
You know, that guy had something to say about Edelman's catch, and then that guy Tyree, he was never in the league after that. Like, get out of here.
He's a wide receiver coach now.
Like, but yeah, that's why I would go. Yeah. I mean, but that defense was nasty. It was up there. It was definitely up there, right? You had the Bob Sanders, you had the Dwight Freeney, you had Mathis, you had a couple other guys too, and what did he do? What did he sign to a practice squad? Dude, come on, get out of here. But yeah, that just watching him and just seeing him, like, it was like man, this guy can go down the field, like, and tear up our defense. And so we had we had some of the great defenses, like some would say, in the game at that time, right? And he would just Omaha, Omaha, and carve us up. And so that's why I have him over Montana. Just because I watched this guy. Mahomes, like I said, I just can't put him on this list yet because of the time that he's played.
See, I'm confused. All right, so 5, you're rewarding Bradshaw for being a winner. But then 2, you're rewarding Peyton for being individually statistically great. So these are like 2 opposite careers. How about I give you 2 in the same category? 2 in one person. Mahomes already has more playoff wins than Peyton Manning. You know, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So that right there tells me a lot. 6 years as a starter, he already passed Peyton Manning in playoff wins. And we can't make excuses like, oh, he has better weapons, all that stuff, because Peyton Manning had Edgerrin James and he had Marvin Harrison. And he had Dallas Clark? Right? Dallas Clark, right? And Dallas Clark ain't no
When they talk about the Broncos team.
All right.
The Broncos team.
Broncos team was crazy lit, and he got blown out in the Super Bowl. No, granted, it was Legion to Boom, but they lost 48-8, something like that. Got killed. And I was so sick because I'm a Peyton Manning fan. So he only got 2 Super Bowls. One of them he got carried by Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware. Shout out to Cowboys. And
that's why Aikman ain't gonna be at 5.
So I don't know. I can't put. And then Peyton Manning had some poor playoff performances, poor playoff moments too. So I can't put him in number 2. And John Elway, man, I think John Elway is like the Lamar of football. He had no weapons. You know, like all them times he was carrying them teams, he didn't have weapons for us. He didn't have no receipt until he won. That's when he got the weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he got the weapons, that's when he actually won. But John Elway won MVP. Mahomes already got more than that. 2 Super Bowls, Mahomes already got more than that. And he won back-to-back. Mahomes did that too. So that's why, like, yeah, if Mahomes retired today, I think he's third best overall. Third best all time. Past Peyton, past Bradshaw, definitely. I mean, he got 1 Super Bowl less than Bradshaw, more Super Bowl MVPs. Like, the fact that Mahomes got 3 Super Bowls and 3 Super Bowl MVPs, that's LeBron and Jordan-esque. LeBron and Jordan are the only 2 guys in the NBA who has 4 MVPs and 4 rings and 4 Finals MVPs. Only guys. They got like all the MVPs they won, all the finals they made it to, they won MVP. Mahomes is the only NFL player with 3 and got 3. He's the only person that ever did that. That says a lot. So I can't put Peyton at number 2, man. I got to reward winning a little bit more. Individually, he's good, but my guy couldn't get the job done enough.
I mean, one guy did though, but I ain't gonna say too much. I'm just saying, man. Look, yeah, I remember one time in the chat, JMO said, if you lose a Super Bowl but win the MVP, that's an accolade. Okay, let's say you don't have the MVP, but you win 3 Super Bowls and you're a Super Bowl MVP. I'm just saying.
Versus a guy who never won though.
He got 3 rings.
Troy Aikman above Lamar Jackson.
I mean, come on now. We know that.
Okay.
Why would that's not a debate though. We're not debating those 2. Now we talking about Aaron Rodgers, who got 4, went to the Super Bowl, got in the playoffs several times, and had bad playoff success. I'm just saying. His career is that 1 Super Bowl.
It is though, but he was also the best player in the world too at one point. Troy Aikman was never that.
Carl, stop.
Yo, we know Carl will say, okay, we all know we're gonna have this conversation in the chat. We all know that.
You about to make me start saying some people overrated at the rate you just be moving people around.
But yeah, Teddy, I see where you at. You like, all right, man. Like he didn't qualify. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
I know he did all this stuff, but he didn't qualify yet. He didn't play it long enough to see bad days.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably what she's saying. So I get it, but I'm ready to go ahead and put him in number 3. Like, I'm ready to do that. I am.
I'm not mad at him being a number 3. I see why you got Peyton at 2, but nah, I still see Holmes, man. It's just something different. Like technically, Peyton was different. If you talk about the way he could carve an offense, walk up there, see the play, know how you gonna shift in defense
Yeah.
if it's a blitz or not, and then still be able to make a play. Carl, I'm gonna ask you this in my last words: is Aaron Rodgers overrated? Because he only got, like I said, his playoff success is not that great, but yet y'all
Right.
keep putting him in the top 5 every year because of the way he can throw the football.
Well, I put him on top 5 because he orchestrated that. Even though they had a number 2 defense that year, when he won a Super Bowl, Charles Woodson won defensive player of the year that year too, I think. But and your boy, you know who was a DB coach that year? Who our defensive coordinator again?
You talking about Quinn?
Who our defensive
Oh,
coordinator?
Joe Witt.
I just want to throw out there, but
should have never told you that. I
All
knew
right.
that was gonna come back. I knew that was gonna come back to hunt me. But again, though, I'm gonna address Carl in the chats because I'm putting Troy up there, like I said, because of my fandom. But now because you got me here, I'm here now. Again, Aaron Rodgers is nice, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But every time we talk about playoff success, everyone kills another quarterback because of their playoff success. But Aaron Rodgers only went to 1 Super Bowl. He won it. After that, he could never get back. You would have thought he lost the Super Bowl at the rate he never got back.
He never got back. You're right. If Troy Aikman would have had 1 MVP, Tomo, I might have put him right there.
Like I said,
but I get where you coming from.
It was my fandom, but now they got me here, so now I got to defend it.
Do your thing, man. You got a good case for Troy Aikman. He 3 for 3 for Super Bowls. I mean, the whole point of NFL is winning. That's the main thing. Is winning as a quarterback. MVPs are great. Cause look at it. Brock Purdy could have won MVP this year. Think about that. If Brock Purdy would have won MVP, but then let's say Joe Burrow goes win the Super Bowl, Brock Purdy better than Joe Burrow. You know, so like I think Super Bowl weighs more than MVPs, but you have to have both. You know what I mean? That's me. If Troy Aikman had 1 MVP, man, then you got me.
So the Super Bowl they won, Carl, A-Rod was the driving force. That defense didn't do nothing that year?
No, A-Rod was the driving force, though. I ain't gonna lie.
So you telling me when they got to the Super Bowl and the Steelers was making plays, the Packers defense didn't show up?
Nah, they played good. But Aaron Rodgers played really good. Now, the defense showed up against Chicago. They won them that game because Aaron Rodgers did not play good in the NFC Championship game.
He's about to lose to Jay Cutler.
Jay Cutler got hurt. Yeah, Jay Cutler got hurt.
He's about to lose to him.
He got hurt. They won 13-3, and they had a defensive touchdown, I think. So,
come on.
But against Atlanta, number 1 seed, oh my gosh, he lit Atlanta up.
He did his thing. He did his thing. But I'm just saying, like, come on,
definitely lit Atlanta, though. Oh my gosh, that Atlanta game, bro. That's what I knew Aaron Rodgers was gonna be him, bro. Like that Atlanta game, I was already an Aaron Rodgers fan. You could ask Blaze, you could ask my man Ron. My man Ron tried to argue me Tony Romo better than Aaron Rodgers, bro. Back then, I'm sorry, he did. I'm like,
I was a different guy back then. I was a different guy. I was a different guy. I was on that wave for like 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Like 2 weeks.
But I was an Aaron Rodgers fan. It was Peyton and Aaron. But when Aaron whooped the Falcons, that's why I was like, oh yeah, he's here, bro. Like he's it. But he hasn't been back though, so that's a good point.
Just saying, man. Driving force. I guess he was a hoopty. 1 and done.
Yeah. So that was a good one though. We got some the comments participated. Teddy had a whole different vibe. Threw me off. I'm not gonna lie. Threw me off. All right, Tom.
You got smoked by the 49ers. What are you talking? What is wrong with y'all? Y'all out here tripping.
And he lost multiple times being number 1 seed.
Exactly. Like, what are they talking about? That's folding. I'm not listening to an Eagles fan try to tell me what folding is because they don't know what it is.
Yeah, he folded against Tom Brady.
Like, come on, bro. What's wrong with y'all?
Right, Teddy? Against the Buccaneers, he didn't show up. Tom Brady lit them up in the first half.
Like, yeah, wildin'. Let's get out of here, Joe. They made me mad.
All right, let's get it. Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all at the next episode.